Ger Canning, the commentator there. So Real taking a 2-goal advantage to Paris in a few weeks' time. And Richie, you know, all the pressure that was on both teams, both managers, but particularly Zidane, and to respond in that way in a cracking match.
I think it was a brilliant response. If you think of the atmosphere that must have been in the stadium, we know the scenes at the weekend, the crowd around the players' case, particularly on Benzema's case. Ronaldo at one point had to kind of have a go at them for having a go at Benzema. So it's an unhappy club. They're miles off top spot. They're not where they expect to be. So the importance of this game is huge. So to respond in the way that they did, to go on a goal behind, was superb. I don't think it's a commanding enough lead for them to be sitting in the dressing room thinking the tie is done. Far from it, but very, very impressive response to going a goal down.
Yeah, game, and it was a titanic struggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. A lot of great players on the pitch as well, and Ronaldo, you know, coming in with that second goal. Keeper parried it, but he gets it in with his knee, and people say, you know, it's not. He's there, and then Marcelo. Getting a third is huge because they've had a terrible season, Madrid. Really terrible season. Maybe he was 33 last week, Ronaldo. Maybe he can lead them to win it 3 times.
It'd be amazing.
Well, they have Ramos, Cruz, Modric, Gareth Bale, who wasn't fit enough to play tonight. They have so many outstanding players. Carvalho, the right back, who wasn't fit to play tonight. Nacho had to play against Neymar. But there's a big night to come in Paris.
Yeah.
But when you think of what we saw, what would Liverpool and Madrid be like? You know, that's where Liverpool's defence would kick in. But they've set the standard, Madrid, for the last 2 years and a lot longer back in history. And they're still setting the standard against a club that have spent a fortune, 220 million on one player, Neymar, who doesn't appear to be behaving himself off the pitch. And when you go to the Bernabeu, that's where that kicks in, if you're not doing your stuff off the pitch.
And I suppose the pressure ramped up, Richie, even more on Real and Zidane when they fell a goal behind.
Yeah, it was a well-taken goal, well-timed run from Rabiot to arrive in the box at the moment he did. It's a decent delivery in for Alves. We can see a replay. Cavani deliberately leaves it. Whether he gets a shout from Neymar or not, I don't know, but perfectly timed arrival from Rabiot. Very good finish.
And Liam, you know, we mentioned it beforehand about this time last year with the way Zidane had managed and conditioned Ronaldo. From here on in, he was at absolute the peak of his powers. And a massive moment in the game tonight, the penalty decision, and then he converts it right before half-time to make it 1-1.
Yeah, I think the lad who gave away the penalty, Lo Celso, is an Argentinian. He's 21 years of age. Very inexperienced challenge there. You just don't do that. But the pressure fell on Ronaldo and he buried it. And this is the second goal. As Eamon said, the keeper parries it. Asensio pulls it back. But he's there, isn't he? He's in that 6-yard box. This is the third goal. Marcelo, bit lucky. I think it hits Marquinhos on the way in, and keeper struggles to get it. I thought, from what we've seen there, PSG will be kicking themselves. They had so many chances, and the boy who gave the penalty away, he'll be holding his head in his hand saying, what was I doing, you know? To let them back into the game on the stroke of half-time. Yeah. But I agree with Richie, 2 goals might not be enough. If you look at the amount of chances that PSG created there, they could easily turn this around.
And have the away goal.
Yeah, absolutely. A long way from over.
I'd go for PSG.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you might get a nice price about them now.
Yeah, you will.
I think they'll turn over Madrid and they could go on to win it.
Yeah. City won't win it. Their defence, which is right about last night, should have had a penalty given against them, and before that, guy got through on his own and lost his head completely. A Basel forward, big hole in the centre.
Remember, you heard it here. City won't win it from Eamon Dunphy.
City won't win the Champions League. I can assure you.
Okay.
And neither will PSG. If on tonight's performance, Real Madrid will take a lot of beating. With Ronaldo there, with Bale to come back, Ramos to lead them, they're going to take a lot of beating. I think they'd murder cities.
I wonder what the fallout would be
if
PSG don't overcome the deficit in the second leg and they go out. So they've spent all this money. Massive,
manager goes, Richard.
massive
Well, manager
so
first
the
out the
manager
door.
goes.
Yeah.
Like how many years of failing? This will be viewed as a failure in PSG. Did the owners tolerate? Did it keep going? Just let's chuck more money at it
Man
next
City
year.
have kept going, haven't they? You know, Man City with the people in Abu Dhabi, they've kept going. They've kept ploughing the money in. And I think the Qataris and PSG will do the same.
But it's all a kind of knock-on effect now. Like, say, if Emery is removed as PSG manager, they're going to win the French league. This happens, you know, they're out of the competition before May, and it's all Pochettino is around, and Ancelotti's there,
Conte is available. I think what they'll say, what the Qataris who own PSG will say, is we need a big name. Emery is not a big name. We need somebody, and Zidane has been linked to that post. They always think that you need, with powerful players like Neymar, and you know those big. We need a big personality to coach them, to make them respect what they're doing, and to stop Neymar getting a private jet to Ibiza for a 2-day party with his best friends, 150 of them. You've got to stop that stuff. So I think they will go for a big name. And I wouldn't rule Mourinho out.
Of going to PSG?
No.
Interesting.
I'd like to see him out of England. But he might go there. He said, he gave a press conference a couple of months ago, he said he thought Paris was a beautiful city.
Well, that's true.
It is true, but why did he say
Manchester's lovely as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing them next week, Manchester United, you know, because they are not improving and they are not playing well. No. And Mourinho, I've always said, is not a fit for Manchester United. So he looks as if he's looking elsewhere. He looks as if he's totally fed up on the sideline. Doesn't look as if his heart is in it. And, you know, it could be that there'll be a lot of chopping and changing in the managerial positions at the end of this season.
It's kind of pieces moving around on the board, isn't it? They have questions to answer next week, Richie, Manchester United.
They do. I just, on Eamon's point, if Mourinho going to PSG, if that ever happens, I can't imagine a dressing room that has both Neymar and Mourinho. I don't think that's a relationship that can last that long if Neymar conducts himself the way he reportedly does. I don't think Mourinho's a manager that will put up with that.
But I feel that Emery hasn't got a grip there.
No, not at all.
And he
because he's not a big enough name.
No, and he's a very good coach. He won the Europa League 3 years running with Sevilla. He did a magnificent job there because they were a selling club while they were doing all that, changing the squad every year. He's a very good coach, but he's not a Zidane. Conte is a big personality. And I think you do need big personalities to manage these clubs, don't you, Liam?
Emery will be sitting pretty after the second leg.
Dream on. Dream on.
Between now and kick-off. But, guys, I just want to bring you to the other game this evening, and Real PSG. And, you know, Richie, there's so many narratives with this. The managers, Neymar going back. You could write a book about the build-up to the thing alone. How do you see that this evening?
Yeah, I think a lot of the focus on the managers' futures is, you would imagine, domestically their seasons are set. Real Madrid aren't going to win the league, PSG will win the league, so the importance of the Champions League increases for both clubs. Zidane's future, despite winning 5 trophies in 2017, is in doubt. The question of Neymar, I mean, he was brought into PSG as the player that they banked on, elevating them from their current level up to Champions League winning status. And the more and more reports that we hear from Paris about how he lives his life and how he conducts himself. Apparently he trains and plays when he wants. His social and domestic life is like a circus. I don't know how that's sustainable long term, so I don't know whether they've put all this money on a player who won't be able to deliver what he does because of how he conducts himself. But the importance of this match is huge.
Like, you know, Eamon, could this signal the start of a period of PSG dominance, which is why Neymar was brought in and all these mega millions have been spent on this team? They want to win this thing.
Oh, they do, yeah. The irony of the situation is Zidane has been linked with the PSG job, so he could end up getting, if PSG were to knock Madrid out, he'd be sacked. But if Madrid knock PSG out and they don't win this trophy, he could be sacked by Madrid and he could go to PSG. So there's a little subplot there, but I don't know if they have the all-round strength. They've got Mbappe, Cavani, they've Dani Alves as well, and Neymar. They are world-class. But the rest of the team around them, goalkeeper, for example, is not so great. And this is a big, big night. This is the biggest game that Madrid and PSG have played all season. And Neymar's lifestyle is not conducive to performing at this level. They're messing around in the French league. I've seen quite a bit of them. They won 8-0 the other night. And Cavani and Neymar had a row about a penalty. Cavani had the ball, Neymar wanted to take it off him. All that nonsense. Now you go to the Bernabeu and you're playing real football. So whether they can take that step up from the French league is questionable.
Liam?
And I'm really looking forward to the talent that's on the park. As Emma said, Mbappe, Cavani, Neymar. Will Ronaldo once again rescue Madrid from a poor season? I think he got a hat-trick at the weekend, didn't he? Fascinating game. I'm really looking forward to it after we watch Liverpool.
Yeah, and this for Ronaldo, like I suppose we've seen him, particularly last season, this kind of time of the year, Zidane was able to manage it, that from now he really hits top form. And I know he's scoring goals, but people have been kind of, he's not as brilliant as he can be or normally is at this time.
They're still a special team, Madrid. You know, they've got Modric and Cruz, and they've got Bale. Maybe he'll be back tonight. I don't know. So
I think he might be on the bench.
Yeah, they are a special team, and when this draw was made, everybody went, wow. You know, it's box office, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really
superstar teams, the Galacticos that Madrid put together in the past, when Zidane was one of the Galacticos. As a general rule in football, it doesn't work when you try and glue it all together. And Madrid have a team that's played together for a long time, won the last 2 Champions League. Can they revive their season tonight? Because it's been a terrible season domestically. And even last week, they had a bad result against a team called Leganes, who nobody's ever heard of. So they've got to put their season back together. But Neymar, in particular, has to live up to the hype and the 220 million transfer fee they paid for him.
There was a report today, Diego Torres, a well-known Spanish journalist, did a big feature on his lifestyle. Apparently he's a load of his mates that he pays to live with him. He has 2-day parties in the house, half the town is always invited. He shows up to training when he wants. It sounds, it's great crack, but it's not what you want from a player.
Great. It sounds great.
Yeah, but it's not conducive to being a footballer. Long term, anyway, you're not going to play to a high level.
Yeah.
He's not doing too bad on it, though.
No, he's not.
So
Yeah, we'll see.